Okay. Hashudin Shabbat is Mechitza. You have Shudin partners who want to make a Mechitza, Mechatzer, in the courtyard. Bona is supposed to be empty, build a wall in the middle. Malcolm Shinagu, Livnos Gavil, Gazis Kafisin Levanim, and the place where they use to build Gavil stones, Gaza stones, Kafisim stones, Levanim. Those bonim, then you build it that way, whichever stones. They're different types of stones. Poka Mining of Medina, everything is like the Mining of the Medina. Aleph says, the Gavil. Not, oh, what are you doing? Okay, let's do that, it's fine. Let's go back. Okay, the Gavil Zenos in Gimel Tvachim, Zenos in Gimel Tvachim, the Gavil this one gives 3 Tvachim, this one gives 3 Tvachim, the Gazi Zenos in Tvachim and Mepsa, and Zenos in Tvachim and Mepsa, by Gazi this person gives 2.5, and this person gives 2.5, and by Kufizim Zenos in Tvachim, Zenos in Tvachim, by Kufizim this one gives 2, and this one gives 2, meaning you divide the width of the stones, and the stones are 6, 5, and 4, and therefore 3 and 3, and 2 and 5, 2 and 5 and 2 and 5, and then 1, 2 and 2. Levein nosim nosim tafel metzger but leveinim it's 3, so it's 1.5, 1.5. Let's see Rashi. Hashotfin sheyesh them b'chatzir b'shotfus they have in the chatzir and shotfus ubat yishneim besuchem the tzolchan both of the houses are open to them b'chol chatzir sheshonim b'cham l'fnei abatim him all chatzis which are in front the chum taught about is in front of the houses. Rov tashbish b'chatzir the majority of their usage was in the chatzir, meaning you had a house, but you also used the backyard and front yard as much as you could. Empty built in the middle. Malcolm over close to this one gets from his portion half the portion of the space of the wall. Similar this one. Gavil Gaz Kafisim. Gavil Gaz and Kafisim will come for Gemara talking about the Gemara. Kokamin and Medina, everything's like the Menig of the Medina. And Menig live knows the Gavil ain't say ain't Chaver Yochel or any Chavet Elevit. Gaz if his Menig to build in the courtyard, his friend can't say I only want to build Gazif. So no, the Menig is to build with Gavil. You can't use a different stone. Then also in Gimel Tvachim, so we get 3 Tvachim. Shobi Kosel Gavil Tvachim was the thickness of a wall, which is Gavil is 6 Tvachim. Mishal Gaz is Commission, and Gavil is 5. Mekayim Kafisim and Mishal Kafisim is Dalit is 4. Mishal Levanim Gimel Levanim is Gimel. Back to the Gemara. Zanos and Gavim with Lefitach by the Dalit. Vikal Kamnapol Kosel therefore the Kosel fell down. And Makam Vavanim shall Shneim the place and the stones of both of them. And similarly by Agina, Makum Shadagam Ligidor Mechayven also, and a place they have an obligation to, they have the minute to wall it, then you obligate him to do that. He has to wall it in that place. But by a valley in a place you don't have the minute not to wall, then you don't obligate him. But if he wants, he can build, if he enters into his own rishus and builds. But also chazis he makes some sort of chazis is like a little some way to see that it's the right way, the right thing, it's yours. So you build on your side and you build a thing to show that it's your landmark or it's all on your property. The people come not so and therefore the wall falls down. Then the place and the stones are his. If they both did it with the opinion of both of them, they both agreed to build this wall, even in a place which is not normal, but they agreed to it. So then Shneim Bonim Mesakos, they both build a wall, the M's in the middle. But also kind of make 2 chazes, one on this side, one on that side, like one sort of jot out to show that it's yours. Because at the top of the wall you put like a few bricks that are out of order, so facing the way there's who the owner is. Or whatever, maybe plaster, we'll see. The people of them knuckle goes to the Makom Babanim Shel Shneim, therefore if the wall falls then the place and the stones are both of them. The Rashi says Lefikach, a whole betchilas have been since the beginning of the building. Chayav and Chacham the notice ben Shneim. It's obligated for the Chacham to build both of them. This is back in the Chatzir. And Nafal Akoso, if the wall falls down, the Achar Shneim Shonim Rabbim after many years. In Echal Yochel Omer Kol Akoso in the Bechalki. When the one person not able to say the whole wall is built by portion. And Mishali how you have run him and from me by all the stones. After we Shehok Yosef Mechaver, even though he has more of a chazak on them or whatever, he's holding them more than his friends. For example, the wall fall in his portion, and the portion was the Gemara says. And Gemara explains. וכן בגניזם לגינים מחייבים את שניהם לבנות במקום שנהגו לגדור באמצע, and then we obligate both of them to build in a place and they have a minute to build in the middle. They both have to do it. Ava Bika, but in a Bika, should saw the Halavan and Mitzvah and Halavan, Malkum Shinago, but the Gemara Parish, my comment, the Gemara explain what it's saying in a place where you don't have minute, not the wall, like how does that mean? Vosa Chazim, of course, you make a wall, Chazim the outside, first when one of Chazim is going to be explained in the Gemara. Also, Chazim, you make two Chazim, one on each side, Lo Diyosh Shneim, someone to know that both of them did it. So, Vruah Mai Mechitza, the Gemara thought that what does it mean when it says Mechitza? I mean, it says, Shoshan Shabbat Lassim Mechitza. What does it mean? They thought it meant good, it meant the wall, a coastal, like Rashi says. Kedetanya, we learned in the Brisa. Rashi is Kedetanan. The Koritana, the good Mechitza, we see from this Brisa that a wall is called a Mechitza. I think they changed this from here, from Kedetan to Kedetanya. Okay. Mechitza is a Karam Shenifritza. If you have a wall of a vineyard which has been broken open, you tell them to wall it up. And if it's over, they did do it and we broke open, then he tells them to re-wall it. Then if you finally just gave up and didn't wall it, how is the kiddush? Then this is going to cause the climb to happen, but the wall's not breaking the two different types of plants from being together. He says to him, the Baal came to the owner of the vineyard. They should make a wall and they shouldn't answer your vineyard as to my grain, asada of the field. We shouldn't climb because of climb. The fish is stamba asada because this normal owner of the field has zerosov. The fish is samach because you put next to the Baal asada, the owner of the field has zerosov his grain or whatever he's growing. Samach Lagav next to the wall, because it's done Perk Shani. He was learned in the second pair. Gather been assigned there's a wall between us. That's Samach Lagav in the Kam. That's Lilan also. This one can put next to the wall his from this side his trees. So that's Samach Lagav the rest of the row. So this one can put next to the wall his plantings. Mikan from this side. When there's no wall there, it's not Perk Shani. We learned in the second pair. You thought to make Elan Samach Lasad. Each person shouldn't plant a tree next to the field. Chaver of his friend. Now, came here from men Dalanam, so listen to 4 hours. Kadesh avoid this Karim, but enough for the service of the vineyard. The Bahachi have a climb because this would be climb. Husband if it's alone, Gadar, if he said breaks open, you tell him to wall it up. So if he gave up, then he's Kadesh. Hatvua im Hosefet and Masaim, then Tvua will become climb if it added on 200. Listen, the Quran not going to pick the language of the Pasuk. Pen took made left to become holy or sanctified, but meaning it's you can't use it. It's I guess kiddush in the sense that it's kaddish, no one can touch it. It's awesome. Okay, how is that kiddush? You're obligated in its responsibility, meaning you should have walled that thing. You're destroying the other person's crop by not making and causing climb. This is from the time the Gemara says the time of the Rat. So the reason is because they agreed to this. So that was just a proof that it means walk. It says the word mechitza. Just to the other side. There we go. The time of the Ratzu, halu Ratzu. But the reason is because they agreed. But if they didn't want Ein V'chayv, also we don't make them build it. Alma has a chain reash Lashmi has. What do you see that it's because the damage from just seeing is not counted as damage. But you don't have to put up a block from your viewing with the cause for privacy wall. We see that there's no rule that you're seeing him as a damage and therefore you would have to stop them by making a wall. No, it's fine. It's only if you agree to make a wall. The Gemara says, well, maybe wall mechitza doesn't mean wall, it means actually it's division. And it means that once you agree to split it up and we're separate entities, and now we're doing our own private thing, so now you need to make a wall. So keep it to make a split. Let's actually see Rashi. The time of actually, you see the base of the Baal says my mechitza. What does it mean mechitza? Plug means to split. Let's see the Rashi. Time of the Rasul because the reason is because they wanted. There's no also to build a wall. The Chayavim Chacham the Chacham obligated them. The Midash Shneim who have it. There was an opinion of both of them. The Chayavim Chacham the Chacham obligated them. Sheyivim the Ben Shneim that should build between them. L'Kam Parach. And later on they're going to ask Yeshurot might have if they want to agree. What does it help? Why can they retract? So I mean that's the question. Why can't we retract? and saying, well, no, we don't want it. Aval lo ratzu shneim, but if let's say they didn't want to both of them. Shay echadam medayim lechol kol masifas. The one is saying it's enough to split it up to some sort of like masifas wall, it's like a little plank wall, let's say. Shall you say this of pegs, eights of wood, to kuam bar to shut into the ground, and mulchum which are very short. Look, I feel later we wouldn't force him to build a bigger wall. But Anzi Yachalamala, and this person not able to say any Chavit Shetiriski, I don't want that you should see my dealings. So maybe it doesn't mean that it means one means actually a division. The Chalukas Achatza means splitting the Chatzah. Shehishva Daitim, they equal the Andas, and they agreed. The Cholgum to divide the Kikon Shalohaya Bach Asam, for example, there wasn't it's 8 amas in it. Because if there was 8 amas, you don't need his agreement. But let's say it was not. At the Kadesh Luzav, Kadesh Luzav, for this one, this one. Shane Echad Yochel Lukov is clear. Now, one person not able to force the other one to the Chaluka to divide. So that's why I thought that they wanted Shekivan Shirat to the Chaluka. Once they've wanted the division, and now even though we couldn't force the division in this case, but they wanted to now they've done the division. So now the rule is bonus kosel v'shalavanim. You build a kosel build a stone wall. I'll come against the will. And so when one says I don't want this payment, element of just a general like wall, peg wall, whatever. But in Shlomo we don't listen to him. Mishum has agreed because of has agreed. Okay. And a machita is plugged. Look at the sivit. Hey machita zayidan, which would be the like a division of half the wall. Mechtas, I guess half or the splitting of the congregation. But the point is, it just means divide. Okay, so you can't have that mean divide, and so therefore maybe we want Kibin Taratza to divide. Now we force you once they're all separate things, so you can't be seeing his private stuff. But given the Ratza bonus of Kosovo, then since they wanted to agree to the division, you can build the wall by force. Has we see what do you see that damage from the seeing is damage. So then they wanted to make a wall. It should have just been that they wanted to lachtos to split. That's the better proper grammar. Elamai Guda, so the Gemara says back, well, but what? It's good. It's a wall. Bone has a close bone and also me, brother. When it says build the wall, should have said build it. That's what it needs to say. Itana, so therefore, it doesn't really fit because you're talking about a wall. And they wanted to build this wall, and then build the wall. Why don't you say build it? That makes more sense. Itana also if it said it, have a meaning of Masifas Balma, it's not just a bit general Masifas, commercial and coastal, if it says the coastal. So Rashi says here, have min masivas ma'amum mari must be since what the Mishnah is talking about. The ihu nami mechitza because that's also would be called a mechitza, masifas. Ras diktani achaluka kayim when it says they agreed with going on the division. Ukashein ba din chaluka and then it doesn't have enough din of a chaluka, and therefore said they agreed the make a mechitza, and we're going to say that means a masifas, which really means a kamashla and kosol. And therefore comes to teach us to say that doesn't mean a masif, it means a kosel. Ratzu the Gitani Misham kosel, and then when it says they agreed, it was because of the wall, and then they agreed to make a wall. But the Ilav Ratzu, if it wasn't agreed, Palgibul Masifas would divide with a masifas, and there would be, you can see right through and see other guy's stuff, we don't care. Bonus the kosel be'amtza. So the rule is you build the wall in the middle, either because reason one is they have agreed to it, or reason two because it has agreed. So the Gemara says, Pshita, we'll build in the middle, obviously. It's only needed, it's needed for a case where one comes first to and made his friend agree. The same what he said, if you want to agree to you when I was with the heir, the Tashmish Talo, it's Rati, but with using my stuff, I didn't agree. And that's where it comes to each. But when I agree to you with this wall, mechitza dak, a very small wall in this rata, that's what I wanted. To do less, taking up less space, less in the air. Kagon shel nisar, for example, a board, shehi dak was very thin. But it has to be in bond, there's no damage of seeing because it's a big, thick wood board. I mean, not thick, but it's wood board. O Tim Shokovi, the coastal will drag in the thickness of the wall, this is into your portion. Chutz midavar muad, except for a very small amount, which you would have for the little board wall. Abu live notes because of one, but to build a stone wall, which is stick, limut inami tashmishtai to get rid of also my usage. One is that I didn't agree to that. Okay. Kamashalon. Okay. The hezek lavish here lavish hezek Gemara says and damaging with the seeing is not considered hezek. So this is a simon gina kosel kofen kofen cholonos per Nachman. Okay. Tashma Rabbeinu beginner. So we used to bring a proof that says it's so too by a gina. And we know by a gina that the rule is you can enforce it. Well, everyone's going to agree to that. We're going to say later. V'habachin begina getani. The masher tavai uchad time behu. Gina v'chatzer. It's masher both of them for the same reason. A gina and a chatzer. And a chatzer. We know about a gina. Well, it's a Aries has agreed and you can force a wall. So the Gemara says Shani Gina Sham Din is different. Shkira Rabba like Rabba says Amar Rabba Amar Rab Huna. The Rabba says name Rav Huna. Amar Rav name Rab. Also Allah Mam B'Shot B'Sad L'Chaver. It's also for man to stand in the field of his friend. B'Shashi Yomer is become a certain time it has standing in its grain. Because I guess Ayin Hara Rashi says no nothing. I think it's because it has agreed. It's making his crops bad by Ayin Hara. The Gemara says, but it says v'chein, and it's just similar, and similarly by Aginos, it means this reason which is for Agina is also the reason for the one before, and the reason for Agina we know is because of Hezagriya, so it's by Katsush, by Katsush. The Gemara says Agvil the gods, this means on the stones, the type of stones that are the normal thing that you can do, but it's not the same thing. And by Agina you could force it, by a Katsu you would have to agree to it. Tashma I bring a proof, become a coastal shachatzu shenaflu mechayiv and also of nos. We have the wall of a courtyard. We force him to rebuild. Adal nam still down. So we see you can force him. The Gemara says nafal shani if it fell down is different because you've already agreed to. Nafal shani Rashi says shikvarnis ratzu rishonim because they've already agreed with the first one to the coastal. Actually, Rashi before says Mechayvin also when the proof was because we obligate him to build. So if the wall fell down, we obligate him. Here it doesn't say that they wanted to. Ella al karcha rather means by force. They forced him to build the wall. So you can't say, oh, they wanted to. No, they didn't want to. They built. They have to do it. So the reason is because there it's different. They already wanted to agree to a wall, and I think it says in Tosfos that, and therefore they've done all the private stuff. Okay, and that's going to be a real problem. And the person who asked the question, what happened, what occurred to him? Obviously, it's different. Otherwise, why is it talking about a case of Nafal? Obviously, because Nafal is what's making the thing happen. You have to force it. You force them to build a wall in a case where they've all been private and everything before. Okay, that's obviously an important factor. So why? Even from the language of the mission itself, it's mashal that the reason is because you were already doing private things and it fell down and you were already in that situation. But if that wouldn't be there, then you wouldn't have to be forcible. So it seems like even you should figure that out just from the words. Because it fell. It's an important fact in the case. So why is it saying that? Must be that's important. So Gemara says Seifa exclusively. Really, it's not so important. And really, Seifa is it's just needed for the Seifa. Midal Ram to the Mal, if it's 4 and above in Machayiv, so we don't obligate him. Meaning, therefore, it's like the case of fell. So you can't go back to the original state of even if it fell. Okay, the Gemara says Koila my Koila. The Filo Yada the Nafal doesn't know that the falling is different because otherwise why did it say it? Save it the save is needed. Klomer it means to say who would not made car even though same thing we also originally. The Isaac done in Nafal it says the fell we show the save Lashmin. It's because of the save to teach us you also medal Ram say Mechayiv more than 4 Rams you don't obligate him. But after Visha Rishon Haya Gavo Yoser even though the first one was higher Lum Mechayiv we don't obligate him to go higher. Okay. Back in the Gemara, Tashima, Kovan also lives no Beisha. We force him to build a Beisha, which is Rashi, Rashi. Kovan also force him. Kolachim v'nei Yachatz, all the people of the Chatz, say Stel Kovenia to give their portion into this building. Beisha, they say they have to build this Beisha. Shabolim Kosel, all the people of this courtyard. Shabolim Kosel, they build the wall negative shar opposite the door to the entrance of the Uggle. You make this round sort of wall thing. So around. Also, the heck of in making that circle which you're adding to the door and then circle it with walls. The Pesach cut to make a little small opening. Minatzar from the side. Mishum Hezagir, and there's also a void to stop Hezagir, so there's no real door. If you had a chutzner, it was just an opening, so you could look right in. So what you do is you, by the opening, you make a little semicircle and then an opening to that semicircle. Okay, Hezagir Mibnei Rishos Ram, the people of Rishos Ram, Shlo Yer Tok Chutzner, they shouldn't see inside the chutzner. Okay, Hezagir, Kopan also living else Beishar Videlis, so you have to make a Beishar, that half circle, Videlis, and a door, chutz to the courtyard. Shramna Hezek Yishmei Hezek, we see from this that Hezek Yishmei Hezek is count, because otherwise why do you have to build it? Hezek is Ramashani, that the Hezek of the public is different, therefore everyone has to chip in for that. Hezek is Ram, Rash says, Shekobnei Vishos Ram, Mastak, and all the people of Vishos Ram are staring in there. Vidyach, although the Gemara says in a single person not, Tashma will bring you proof, and Chol Ganes Achatz, you can't divide Achatz, Rad Sheva, Dalan Amos, Zev, Dalan Amos, Zev. Until there's 4 Amos to this one, 4 Amos to this one, once it's that big, then they can divide. But otherwise, Rashi says, "Ein chok and ein achad lekofes kover lekal." One person can't force the other person to divide because it's too small and you can't force them to get into that situation. Okay, there's another way to divide up. Go to We'll see later. But the point is, you can't just split it. But if there was enough for this one and enough for this one and yeah, chok, and then you divide. My love, because it doesn't mean to be for a wall with a wall. Love masifas. No, that means with a little like masifas kind of wall, like a little peggy thing. Tashma being a Bruce Cologne is being a well the mal being the mat. And so therefore when it said divided it didn't mean wall. Okay. I meant receivers. Okay, I'm not so clear why that would be wall. Tashma being a Bruce Cologne is being a mal being the mat, where the walls windows which are up above or below. Given being connected on whether and whether opposite them. Dalanamas. You have to stay dalanamas. So if you're going above them, you have to be dalanamas above them. If you're going below them, you have to be dalanamas below them. If you're going opposite them, you have to be dalanamas away from them. But Tanya law and the taught on it, there's Milmala Kadesh Lo Yatzis here, and then when it says the wall has to be 4 above, it means they shouldn't like sort of hang down and stare into his windows. Yes. Milmata below Kadesh Lo Yamad here, and it shouldn't stand on it and stare. Yes. And we connect them from opposite them, you get Kadesh Lo Yapil in order that it shouldn't cause it to be dark. So meaning why is that? That's all to avoid has agreed that the person is going to stand on this wall or stare, hang down from this wall, or could do that. And I guess that's enough of a reason you should make your wall 4 amos tall, or lower, above or down, or away. So away is because of the light. Okay, but that's not the same. The Baishan is the answer. The Baishan is the in the house is different because in the house you're doing very private things, and therefore it's different. Rashi says. In Hachalonis, the windows, Echam ibn Yaakov shows from one of the people of the partners, a bonakos, which built a wall, b'chatzer in a field, or in a courtyard. Connected Kolonos of opposite the windows, shel chaver of his friend, whether above, whether below, in a coastal gavoy yosef min Kolonos. If the wall is above the windows, sarach lagvi, you have to make it high, l'mal mehen dalamos, it be 4 amos above them. In the Parsha, as the Gemara explains as it goes, kadesh lo yismach al kol slow, in order you shouldn't lean on his wall, v'yishkav yir, and spin down and stare, the kolonos of shalaver into the windows of his friend. Beimul mata, whether below, imakosu namach of the wall is lower, min kolonos from the wall, sarach lashpilu mimehem ta'aram, so you have to be lower than them for 4 amos, kadesh lo yamid al ovi, a coastal yir, and let stand in the thickness of the wall and stare. We can negative from opposite. Sarach laharach against the coastal distance, the wall min kolonos from the windows ta'aram, kadesh lo yapil, and understand cause it to be very dark. Hazekah the Bayashan, Hazekah in the house is different. Shah the most of base is different. Because the person does in his house word things which are private. The taught on it, Milmala Kadesh Lo Yatzis V'Yerv, Milmata Kadesh Lo Yamid V'Yerv, Mekaneg Kadesh Lo Yapil. Hazekah the Bayashan is the damage of the house is different. Itashim, I'll bring you proof. The Amr of Nachman Amr Shmuel says, Gaga Samach L'Chatzu Chaver, you have a roof which is next to the courtyard of his friend. Oslo Maka Gavoy Dalam, make it to a little small wall, which is 4 amos wall, 4 amos tall. Shani Yasim Damale Bal Chutz the Bal Gag. That's different because it says the owner of the Chutz, the owner of the roof. The Z Kavili Tashmish dies for me. It's at the usage. Yeah. The Zikala Kavila Tashmish dies for you. It's not at your usage. Well, you down about I didn't know about, and I don't know what time you're going to go up and come. So therefore, that's why you need to have a wall on this roof, and you can force it. She says, Makabor, I'm going to have to make this rooftop thing, which is 4 almost wall around it. Kadesh lo yiro so there's no they shouldn't see into the courtyard of his friend. Kishu mishdamish bagago when he's using his roof. Well, you don't know the cost. You don't know what time you're going to come up. Does ishtamish bagago to use your roof? And therefore, even though normally we wouldn't care about Hazagriya, but in this case, where you're on a roof and I'm in the courtyard, I'm going to be doing my thing, and I'm going to assume you're not there, and I'm not going to see you, and it's going to cause problems. Therefore, you have to build a wall.